Last week, I broke my own rule. I'm in the middle of what I call my creating regiment, a focused period where I only create content, code, or build things. No consumption allowed. But after a particularly draining week, I found myself mindlessly scrolling through short form videos, telling myself it was okay to take a break. Then came the familiar whisper: "You already slept today, just start fresh tomorrow." Tomorrow came, I slept again. Okay, Monday then. Clean slate. Sounds familiar? Here's what I've learned about my why that Monday never comes, and more importantly, what actually works instead. Because the longer we wait to get back on track, the harder it becomes. And I'm going to show you exactly why and how to break the pattern. The slippery slope is real and it is not your fault. Here's what happens when we slip up. We don't just break a habit, we activate a mental pattern that makes the next slip easier. Think of it like this: when you are on track, you are walking on solid ground. One slip, you're now on a slight incline. Tell yourself you'll restart tomorrow, that incline just got steeper. I noticed this playing out in real time last week. The first day I watched content instead of creating, it felt like a conscious choice. A treat, maybe, a reward for working hard. But the second day, it felt almost automatic. My brain had already created a new pathway, and following it required zero effort. The gap between who you are and who you want to be grows with every day you postpone taking action. The neuroscience backs this up. Our brains are prediction machines, constantly looking for patterns to automate. When you break a positive habit, you're not starting from zero the next day. You're starting from negative one. Your brain has already begun rewiring itself around the new pattern. This is why "I will start Monday" mentality is so dangerous. You're not just delaying progress, you're actively strengthening the behavior you're trying to change. The kindest thing you can do for yourself isn't giving yourself permission to wait. It's giving yourself permission to start again right now, before the slope gets any steeper. The arbitrary day trap: why Monday never works. We love clean slates, New Year's Day, the first day of the month, Monday morning. There is something psychologically satisfying about starting fresh with a nice round date. But here's the problem: that satisfaction is entirely in your head. It's costing you momentum. When I caught myself thinking, "I'll restart my creating regimen on Monday," I had to laugh. Monday isn't magic. There's nothing about the Earth's rotation on Monday that makes behavior change easier than on a Thursday afternoon. But our brain loves this trick because it let us feel good about our intention to change without actually having to do the hard work of changing. So every moment you wait for the perfect time to start is a moment you are reinforcing the exact behavior you want to break. Think about it. What actually happens when Monday comes? Usually one of two things. Either you start strong and then sleep again by Thursday, starting the whole cycle over. Or Monday arrives and its own challenge, and suddenly next Monday sounds even better. I've watched this pattern play out in my own life dozens of times. The truth is, we use arbitrary dates as a way to maintain delusion of control while avoiding the discomfort of immediate change. It's a coping mechanism, not a strategy. And the longer we lean on it, the more we train ourselves to believe that change is something that happens later, not now. What if we flip the script? What if the best time to start was always the moment you notice you've gone off track? The pattern interrupt, your real superpower. Here's where things get interesting. The moment you notice you've slipped is actually your moment of greatest power. Not tomorrow, not Monday, right then. The awareness, that split second where you realize, wait, this isn't aligned with what I want. It's just simply pure gold. I call this the pattern interrupt, and it's the single most effective tool I've found for getting back on track. When I caught myself reaching for my phone to scroll again, instead of finishing the video and promised myself I'll do better tomorrow, I literally stopped mid scroll, closed the app, put the phone away, opened my laptop, and started creating. Was it comfortable? Absolutely not. My brain was screaming at me to finish what I started, to at least wait until the next natural break point. But that discomfort was proof that I was doing something different, something that mattered. The quality of your life is determined by how quickly you can interrupt your own patterns and redirect your energy. Here, here is what makes patterns interrupts so powerful. They prevent the reinforcement loop. Every time you notice you're off track and immediately course correct, you are teaching your brain a new pattern. Not slip now, fix later, but slip, notice, correct. The speed matters because it keeps the old pattern from solidifying. The beautiful thing about pattern interrupts, they get easier with practice. The first few times feel awkward and forced, but after a while, that moment of awareness becomes your trigger for action instead of your trigger for rationalization. You stop negotiating with yourself about when you get back on track because you've built the habit of doing it immediately. And if you're watching this video as a form of procrastination, right now, this is your sign to pause, take one small action. I'll wait. Seriously, go do it. Self compassion isn't self indulgence. Now, here's what people often get this wrong. When I talk about getting back on track immediately, some people hear build yourself up and force yourself to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, that approach basically guarantees you will fail. The voice in your head when you sleep should sound more like a supportive coach than a harsh critic. When I noticed I would been watching videos instead of creating, my first thought wasn't, you're weak, you're undisciplined, you failed. It was more like, okay, you got off track, that's normal. What's the next right action? Being gentle with yourself and taking immediate action aren't opposites, they're partners. This distinction is crucial. Self compassion means acknowledging that slip ups are part of being human, not proof that you're broken. But it doesn't mean giving yourself unlimited passes to stay off track. Real self compassion recognizes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to help yourself become who you want to be, and every moment counts. Think of it like this: if your friend came to you and said they were slipped up on a goal, would you tell them they are a failure or should just give up? Of course not. But would you also tell them it's fine, just keep doing whatever feels good in this moment? Well, also, no. You would probably say something like, hey, it's okay, this happens, what can you do right now to get back on track? That's the energy we need to bring to yourselves. Gentle but action oriented, understanding but not enabling. The goal isn't perfection, it's a persistent forward motion with quick recoveries. The compound effect of immediate action. Here's what nobody tells you about getting back on track quickly. It compounds, not just in the obvious way, more days on track equals more progress, but in a deeper way. Every time you notice a slip and immediately correct it, you're building what I call recovery muscle. After last week's experience, I started paying attention to how quickly I could catch myself when I started drifting. The first time took me almost a full day to notice and correct. The second, a few hours. By the end of the week, I was catching myself within minutes. And here's the wild part: the slip ups started happening less frequently because my brain learned that they wouldn't be rewarded with extended periods of giving in. This is the opposite of what most people experience. Usually, the pattern looks like slip up, wait to restart, slip up again faster, wait longer to restart, slip up even faster. It's a downward spiral. But when you flip it and restart immediately, every single time, the pattern becomes sleep up, catch fast. Sleep up less frequently, catch even faster. It's an upward spiral. Your recovery speed is more important than your perfection rate. Think about two people trying to build the same habit. Person A is perfect for 6 days, then has a complete breakdown. It takes 3 days to get back on track. Person B has small slip ups every few days but gets back on track within an hour each time. Who do you think makes more progress over a month, 6 months, a year? Person B every single time because they're building the skill that actually matters, the ability to redirect yourself quickly, and that skill translates to everything else in your life. So here are the key takeaways. The core truth: the longer you wait to get back on track, the harder it becomes. Not because you're weak, but because you're reinforcing the behavior you want to change. Here's what you do instead: notice the slip without judgment. Awareness is your first superpower. Interrupt the pattern immediately. Don't wait for a clean starting point. Practice self compassion while taking action. They are not mutually exclusive. Focus on recovery speed, not perfect consistency. Celebrate quick corrections as victories, not proof you almost failed. And remember, Monday isn't magic. Thursday, 3 p.m. is just as good. Right now is even better. The best time to get back on track is always the moment you realize you're off of it. Start right now. Yes, really. Here's my challenge to you. Think about one area where you're currently telling yourself you'll get back on track. Soon. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's Monday. Maybe it's after this busy season ends. Whatever it is, I want you to identify one small action you can take in the next 60 seconds that moves you toward that goal. Not a big dramatic restart, not a complete overhaul, just one tiny action that says, I'm choosing to move forward right now. Because here's what I've learned: the version of you that you want to become isn't waiting for Monday. That version exists right now, in this moment, making the choice to take the next right action, and then the next one, and then the next one. The gap only grows when you let it. So, what's your next move? So, drop a comment and tell me what's one thing you're going to do in the next 6 seconds, 60 seconds, or 6 to get back on track. Let's make this accountable and real. See you in the next one. Stay strong.